Good morning. Get, get away. These cats are trying to follow us. Go. Stay up there. Um, Good morning, everybody. This is how we're starting off today, apparently. Um, I don't know why the cats wanted to try Rex, but hey, don't mind. Anyway, it is a wonderful Wednesday. It is a wisdom Wednesday. It is a welcoming Wednesday. So welcome in. It is a wellness Wednesday. So I hope you take care of yourself. Um, and yeah, it's a beautiful day. So remember, no matter what goes on today, almost get attacked by cats. If you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, remember that you always have an opportunity to turn around. Okay. My name is Anisa Wesley. This is my YouTube channel. This is Faith and Footsteps, where we put our feet to our faith. And I'm excited to be here today. I'm an encourager. I am an author of the best-selling book, Please Excuse My Brain, Overcoming Fear and Living Out Your Purpose. Good morning. Um, if you're interested in that book, then you can go ahead and look in the description in my description box, and you can order it. It's on Amazon. And it's currently at a special. I put the price down and just continued on. I might continue it on throughout my birthday month, which is May. But then it's going up, so make sure you get your book. Um, Make sure you get your book ASAP. But yeah, I was just coming on here because I'm walking again with my dog, and I wanted to encourage everyone um, today regarding anxiety. So if you're here, you're dealing with anxiety, you've ever dealt with anxiety, or you know someone who does, send this to them, especially if they're a Christian already. But even if they're not, they might still benefit from this live. So send it to them. Get out of that. Um, yeah, so I hope that you guys would subscribe to my channel, this video, and I hope that you would share it with someone. I'm also a Christian therapist. So I talk a lot about mental health and how it is interconnected to faith. Okay. So, uh, and this is Rex. Say good morning to him. Um, but yeah, so this morning I was thinking about anxiety and thinking about how, so I posted something a couple of days ago about how when you are learning to walk in your purpose with the Lord, you have to start sometimes before you're ready, right? This is something that I learned because one thing I understand is that one, your feelings will lie to you all the time. Your feelings, honestly, even your circumstances may lie to you, right? Well, I don't have enough, you know, I'm not doing enough. I haven't made it to this certain point, so I'm not qualified to do, what God is calling me to do yet, right? But I think some people very quickly forget or oftentimes forget that God is the one who qualifies you, right? God is the one who is calling you. And so, therefore, if, and I'll say this only if, right? Excuse me, only if he's calling you right now, right? Because some people are, they have this big vision that God has given them. However, it may not be the right timing, right? So the timing is of the essence. But I think some people know when they have delayed the things that God has told them to do, right? They have delayed it. Not God has, not God telling them to hold on a second, pull back, right? Sometimes God will tell you you're not ready. I believe that He's done it to me several times. But then there's times when you start to feel fear rise up and anxiety come in and tell you, well, you're not ready. You know, you don't have this yet. You don't have anything to say. People aren't going to listen to you. People aren't going to buy your book. People aren't going to come to your event. People, whatever. And it's all, you see how it's all focused on people most of the time. What I've noticed, it's either comparison or what people will think, right? Well, I'm not at that person's level yet, so maybe I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing either. No, you are where you're supposed to be. And whatever that is that God is calling you to, don't allow anxiety to lie to you and tell you that you're not qualified. Okay. So, and I always like to go back to Paul's story because, and okay, I'm going to go to Paul's story and I'm also go to Moses' story a little bit because Paul was the most qualified, right? And yet he took all his qualifications and he said he threw them in the garbage. He said, you know, I can't, he said, I'm not even identifying with the things that I have achieved. So the thing sometimes we have to ask ourselves is what measure are you measuring yourself up to? Is it the measure that someone else has given you, right? Is it some measure that you placed on yourself, right? Is it God's measure? What measure are you measuring yourself up to tell you that you're not ready? When will you be ready? Oh, when I'm making this amount of money every year. Okay, well, when you're making more money, if you don't address the things that you're dealing with in your heart and in your mind now, you're going to be making more money, but you're going to be the same person. So you're still not going to be ready, right? Okay. When I, travel the world, then I'll be ready. Okay. If you travel the world and you came to the conclusion that that wasn't enough, then when will you be ready, right? You get what I'm saying, right? I don't want to keep going on this, but we will always find an excuse to hold off on something that you're supposed to be doing now, right? Well, I'm not going to be ready to go live until I'm able to have more time, or I'm able to understand, like I look better, or I lose weight, or you know have a perfectly aesthetic background. Okay. No, you have to go and do what God is telling you to do. Now, again, this is nuance in the sense of I'm not saying pitch into something that is not calling you to do. Like maybe you calling yourself to do something, and that's why you feel so unprepared, right? You feel so anxious because you're calling yourself to do that thing. God is not equipping you. You're not, this is not your calling or your purpose, but you're pushing into there and you're wondering why you don't feel any grace, right? So there's the nuance. Like, yes, if this is something that maybe is not for you, you just saw somebody do it and you're like, you know what, I want to do that. But you didn't take a moment and say, Lord, is this something that you will have me to do? Is this something that, you are calling me to do? I like this thing. This thing seems meaningful. Like it seems fun. It seems like it'll make money or whatever, right? Whatever it is. And God is like, I know you like this thing, but it's not something I'm calling you to do. And that's the thing about walking in obedience as walking in obedience as a believer, right? So I'm definitely talking to you as a believer, right? If you're not a believer, then I mean, you don't have to be obedient to God, right? But if you are, then listen up because this is the important thing. When God tells you to do something, He gives you the provision for it and He gives you the blessing for it. There is always, I read this book called The Blessings of Obedience, right? It's a really short book. I forget who it's by, but it's a blue and white book. It's called The Blessings of Obedience. And he talks about how when you're obedient to God, blessings always follow. No matter if it seems terrible in the moment, it's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient, whatever it is, the blessings always follow the obedience and the protection of God, right? If you outside of the will of God, there is a limited amount of protection because I am not saying that He won't protect you. I've been out here in these streets before doing God knows what, and there was still a protection over me, right? There was it, but it was low. It was low. It's like, you know, you're gonna catch a disease, but it's just not gonna be incurable. You're gonna get in a car accident, but you're not gonna be hurt. You're gonna, like there's still this certain level of protection that God will do. However, when you're walking in obedience with Him, it's almost like you are marked by Him. There's a story in the Bible called the Passover where they mark their their doors with the blood of um a blemishless, I can't even say the word, the blemishless lamb. And even though there was a decree of death over that nation, when the death angels saw that they were covered in the blood, they passed over. They were obedient to the instructions that were given, right? And they passed over. And something that I learned recently is that, or that I didn't have a revelation of before, is that whoever was attached to them, it didn't matter if they were, you know, a relative or if they were considered to be Jewish. They probably converted after that though, if they survived. But, it didn't matter as long as they were obedient, they were under the protection of God. And so I'll have this question. And is the anxiety that you're feeling due to a lack of disobedience? Because anxiety oftentimes is a culprit of trying to control everything, right? You're trying to control everything. You're going in step with yourself. You're not being in tune with God. That's where anxiety oftentimes can come from. And newsflash, there's so many things in life that you cannot control, right? And so, what is the point of even worrying about them, right? And I know that's easier said than done. Trust me, I know I've been there. I'm not gonna say I don't worry or I don't have anxiety. Sometimes, you know, that's human. But then I have this like, I've been worrying about something for a little too long, and I'm like, okay, Lord, I feel like I'm worrying about this too long. 90% of the things that I worry about don't happen anyway. So let me let me put my energy towards trusting you and having faith. Welcome in everyone. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember to like this video so other people can see it and share it. Sharing is caring, guys. And sharing is free, Loki. I was in a drive-through line the other day, and it was ironically the guy's name was Angel. I was headed to church, right? Guy's name was Angel. He was so nice, so sweet, and he was just like talking about his new cat that he rescued, and he was like, if there's enough for one, there's enough for two, and if there's enough for two, there's enough for three. And I said, yeah, sharing is caring. So make sure you share this video because if something helped you, if you're going through something right now and this encouraged you, then it is more than likely you are not the only person going through what they're going through, and someone else needs this too. Okay. So remember not to allow anxiety to um not to let anxiety rule your life or give you this false conception of control because ultimately God is in control. If we're being completely honest, right? But yeah. So remember to subscribe, remember to like this, and remember you have everything that you need to live your life bravely. And God has not given you a spirit of fear, but one of power, of love, and a sound mind.